I'm John,
And I'm Lisa.
and together we are Spinning
Spinning
Flames.
Flames.
Welcome to episode 3 of Spinning Flames TV. Tonight we are talking about Radiohead's album Kid A, which was released in
A good one for
2000 and pretty much was the precursor to the post 9/11 world. Some would call it somewhat prophetic. Others just say that it accidentally painted a picture of the world that we would live in post 9/11. Radiohead was known for its guitars. It was known for being a heavy shoegaze band, maybe. But they were a British rock band that all of a sudden became electronic out of nowhere, surprising their fans, polarizing their fans, dividing their fans. And for me, it took me a solid decade to actually get into this record beyond a few songs. But when I finally figured it out, I fell in love with it. So let's talk about it tonight. So, what do you know about Radiohead, Lisa?
Hardly anything, honestly. I knew they sang Creep
Mm-hmm.
back in the 90s,
Think everybody does. That's good
right?
that you do.
And then I knew nothing of them really until recently when you were talking about them and kind of introduced me to them. I'm sure I've heard a couple of their songs and just never knew who it was.
Yeah.
But then when you introduced me to this album, I was like, wait, what? Are these the same? Is this the same band?
Same band, same 5 guys, actually.
Right? Like
Yeah.
it just blew me away. So we'll talk about the differences tonight. But yeah, John knows a lot of the history of the band and why they got into what they got into and how they made it different. So it'll be an interesting episode.
Absolutely. So, to give you a little background, Radiohead are from Abingdon, Oxfordshire, I think.
Not Massachusetts.
Not Abingdon, Massachusetts, which is Abington. She used to think
I
it
would
was
say
Abingdon.
Abington.
She used to say, "Oh, how are things in delightful Abingdon?" I'm like, "No, it's Abington." But Radiohead is from Abingdon, Oxfordshire.
Oxfire.
We're just gonna say
Oxfire.
Abingdon, England, and they went to a all boys school together. All 5 of them: Thom Yorke, Johnny Greenwood, Colin Greenwood, Phil Selway, and Ed O'Brien. And in that all boys school, they formed Radiohead. This was in 1985 when they started to develop the idea and jam with each other. And then by 1991, they were signed to EMI Records. And by 1993, Creep was all over MTV, all over the radio. It was one of the 3 big songs that kind of unified the kids who felt like they were rejects or nerds or misfits. You would say it was Creep by Radiohead, Loser by Beck, and Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana. Kind of all came together around the same time and were like the battle cry of the weirdos, so to speak. So obviously you got to hear Everything in Its Right Place, which is the opening track to this album. It is played on a synthesizer of some sort, a very dissonant tone. Thom Yorke has his vocals spinning all around the speakers. Sometimes you can't even tell if they're words or just like murmurings. And you were pretty like woken up by that, a little jarred by it. Tell me what you noticed and the difference between a song like Creep and Everything in Its Right Place. And I know you said it didn't even feel like the same band.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's everything in its right place or another song on the album. I can't really distinguish them as well as you do, but I notice the instruments kind of feel all over the place,
Yep.
but yet it makes sense in a weird kind of way,
Yeah.
and something that I normally would not ever imagine a song to involve so many different directions,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's kind of hard to explain unless you know this song or know this album. And if you don't, I recommend you go listen to it and you'll understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, and then I saw the video of was it that song? What song was the video that we watched? A couple of songs
So
in the
I think
video.
I did introduce you to Radiohead live from the basement in 2008, and that was a full performance of their album in Rainbows, which it helped you see them as a band in a room developing these
Yeah,
sounds, right?
yeah,
And
that's
I
what it
think you were
was.
pretty in awe of that, and then you came to appreciate them more.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like really cool how Thom Yorke, the
Thom
lead
Yorke,
singer,
yeah.
he really gets into it. Like I've never even seen them before. I never saw a video of. I don't even think Creep back in the 90s, and I didn't know what they looked like or acted. And it's just really interesting, like very creative, very artistic. Thom Yorke gets into it so much, like his head is bobbing all around and
Arms are doing all these
arms
weird
are doing all these
angles. Yeah,
weird things.
yeah.
It's like, God, it's just, even if you don't like the music, to see someone get into their creative art form so intensely
Yeah.
is entertaining, right?
Absolutely. You know, it's interesting. I'm going to segue a little bit here because I just thought of Michael Stipe from REM, and Michael Stipe did a lot of that back in the day. If you think about the videos of him back in the mid to late '80s, especially, Michael Stipe was very much just all movement through a song. And Thom Yorke's quite similar to that. And the reason I bring up Michael Stipe, other than that reason, is there is a song on this album, Kid A, that is probably one of the most pinnacle songs of their career, and it's called "How to Disappear Completely." And the song was inspired by Thom Yorke basically having a mental breakdown at the end of the OK Computer tour, where he actually was trying to get away from sound check. He got away from his bodyguards, got on a train to get away. He didn't know where he was going. He just didn't want to be anywhere near his own stardom. Problem was, the train was filled with Radiohead fans, and yeah, he could not escape. And basically, he wound up kind of becoming defeated. Uh, Came full circle on the train, went back and performed that night. But it really set things up for the destruction of Radiohead. Right? It was an intentional destruction where Thom Yorke wanted to destroy the band in terms of their rock and roll sound and their rock anthem persona, and basically reinvent them as an electronic band. And this is a very reclusive, tormented album. Okay, it's like you're really inside Thom Yorke's head. But what he did during the writing process was he would actually write lyrics and then cut the lyrics up, put them in a hat, and spread them back out in any particular order, not in the order in which he wrote
Very
them.
interesting.
Right. And Idiotique, which is that song that's like got that kind of dance rhythm. It's like Aphex Twin. He wrote that, with that in mind. And that's why it's Ice Age come and Ice Age go, women and children first. But after a while, he starts singing in a different rhythm than the beat. And it's first the children, the children first. And it just starts like it. This album is hardly controlled chaos within one's own head, right? It's the bees that are buzzing around. It's that I need to crawl inside myself because the world outside is just driving me crazy and I can't handle it anymore. And the band, to their credit,
kind of like hot sauce sometimes. It's really hot.
You know, that's a good point. We're going to have to do our first hot sauce tonight. So, to their credit as a band, they didn't quit on Thom. They bought in. They bought into dropping the guitars for the most part on this album and really becoming part of the reinvention. And you know what? It was a hell of a risk, and it actually worked. So songs like Everything in Its Right Place, Idiotique, How to Disappear Completely, completely different than anything you'd ever heard from Radiohead. But now that we look upon it many years later, this album, I believe, is a true masterpiece. Speaking of masterpieces, we have three in front of us tonight. We have three hot sauces. The first one we're going to start with over here is the mildest. This is by Hot Ones, First We Feast, and Heat Honest. They work together and collaborate on many sauces, as you may know if you watch Hot Ones. And this is Los Calientes.
Verde. Verde means green.
Yeah,
it's Spanish.
Say that again.
Verde.
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 Verde. Verde, green in Spanish. And this is a serrano pepper hot sauce. It's a little runny. It's got a few little chunks here and there. I think it's sweet. It's a very nice sauce. So let's try that one first.
See.
All right.
And I have my add-ons prepared. I have cheese, Triscuits, and wheat thins actually, and cashews.
Ladies first.
Okay.
So there it is right there, the nice green one.
All right.
Don't be afraid of that one. It's not going to hurt you.
So this is mild, right?
That's very mild. Now remember, we judge things 1 through 10 on this show in terms of heat intensity. And I want to hear from you after you get a little savoring of that. Like, what do you think? On a scale of 1 to 10, where's that level up in heat?
Like a 1.
A 1? Wow. I agree.
I'm becoming, what's the word when you get used to something? My tolerance level for heat intensity is rising. The heat is rising.
The heat is rising. So, as you know, if you watch Hot Ones, which many do, it is actually Hot Ones is responsible for hot sauce sales across the globe going skyrocketing. So, thank you, Hot Ones.
Mm-hmm. That's
Although,
really good. That's like what? What are you gonna say?
I'm not going to talk about Scoville units because I recently learned Scoville units, when you try to judge it through hot sauces, is bullshit. Really, it's the capsaicin that creates the Scoville units. But when you start putting things into sauces and stuff, it kind of dilutes it. So that's why on this show we're gonna judge things scales of 1 through 10. We're not going to talk about Scoville units moving forward.
Um, as I said before, I was never a hot sauce girl. Like I didn't like anything spicy, really. So this is all new to me.
Except for men.
Yeah. And so, that one is sweet, like you said. I picture that with like a mild kind of a chicken dish. Um, yeah,
Eggs?
I think it's a little too sweet for eggs.
Okay, all right.
That's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking more like something with chicken. Trying to think of what else on the side. You could even dip French fries in that, right?
Yeah.
Instead of ketchup.
You could dip it in that shit.
Yeah.
Why not? So anyway, that's our first sauce for tonight. We're gonna call that a 1 on a 10 scale. It's a very nice sauce,
Do you
very
agree
sweet.
with me?
I'm not agreeing with you just to agree with you, but I so happen to agree with you.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
I'll go with that.
All right. So, talking a little bit more about this album, um, we talked about Everything in Its Right Place, which was actually used in the beginning of the movie Vanilla Sky with Tom Cruise. There's a scene where he's actually driving through a completely empty Manhattan. And real interesting fact, they paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to clear the streets for him to actually drive in that scene. That's not CGI. They cleared out a section of Manhattan for him to drive through the empty streets. And that is a movie that was done by Cameron Crowe, where it came out after 9/11, and he said, I am not removing the Twin Towers from this movie because it's like removing history and it's removing memories. So you actually see the Twin Towers, you hear Everything in Its Right Place, and Tom Cruise driving through the empty street. So I will always think of that movie when I hear that song. Cool. And yeah, absolutely. And that sense of isolation after 9/11, this album kind of really, especially that song, really encapsulated it. But how to disappear completely, just that feeling of like, I can't take this, I can't handle this, I need to disappear. Michael Stipe is the one who talked to Thom Yorke about, basically just say to yourself, if you're having a panic attack, I'm not here, this isn't happening. And that is the repetitive refrain in How to Disappear Completely. So from one rock star gave another rock star a wonderful idea. Cool. But there are songs, I will say, there are songs on this album that certainly could have been on the previous album, the masterpiece OK Computer, In Limbo and Optimistic especially. Those two songs, Optimistic has like that guitar driven rock, but with that kind of space agey vibe, very much with like OK Computer. In Limbo's got a kind of dark undertone and vibe. You know, Morning Bell, there's two versions. There's one on this album and one on Kid A's cousin, or little brother, if you want to call it, Amnesiac, which was recorded at the same time as Kid A. They recorded 30 songs during that 1.5-year session.
Wow.
Their producer, Nigel Godrich, broke them into groups because they weren't getting along. There was a lot of infighting, disagreeing. So he broke them off into groups. And they recorded the album in, I think, 5 different cities and countries over a 1.5 years. And at the end, they said, these songs are Kid A, these songs are Amnesiac. And the albums sound very similar, but you can tell they're companions. The blend wouldn't have made sense. They are companions. And I would say, if you haven't listened to Amnesiac, give it a shot. It's Kid A's little brother or cousin, like I said. But I think it was a really interesting time for Radiohead between, the years 1999 when they started the recording process till these albums came out. And they you know wiped off the dust at the end of 2001. They put these two albums to bed, and then they just kind of went and focused on hiding within themselves. But they would eventually come out with an album that's a bit more rock and roll. In 2003, they had the album "Hail to the Thief," which is a little blend of the sounds from here, but definitely much more guitar-driven album again. However, if you really want to find a sound that kind of accompanies a time, I don't know if many of you viewers were alive during 1999 2001. It was a really interesting transition of centuries, and this definitely kind of wraps it up for us.
Did they tour at all, like in the later 2000s?
So you mean for this album and the next album? They did. They actually, there's an album out called "I Might Be Wrong." It's live recordings from that time, and that album doesn't even look upon the career they had before this time. It is super focused on this time, which is kind of an fu to the old fans. But if you come to forgive them and enjoy these albums, then I think then it's worth it. Which I think a lot of people like myself did. All right, hot sauce number 2, and we're making this close to home. This is called Burke's hot sauce. And this is a black cayenne hot sauce made right here in Hanover, Massachusetts by the Burke family.
Hanover.
Yep, and I will say this is a wonderful sauce. It's got a very thick consistency. It has umami. It's umami and
What
cayenne.
is umami?
What about my mommy?
What's your mommy?
Who's your daddy? All right, let's have a little bit of this. So here we go. It's the one with the thick brown consistency here on the trowel. All right.
All right.
Pick a nugget, any nugget, baby.
Okay.
Go for it. What are you doing? All right.
I'm a little scared.
She's scared. Ain't nothing to be scared.
Okay. Smoky.
Burks, you did it.
Peppery. Yeah.
Is it umami-ish?
It's very umami. Heat scale, I would say 3.
Okay.
Barely.
Yeah. I'm going to give that a 3 myself. I think that this is and again, not to just agree with you, but it is a 3.
I picture that with steak. That's definitely a steak sauce, kind of, right?
Absolutely. I think that's steak tips for
like
all the way.
Steak tips in that.
I would marinate steak tips in that. I'd have to get several bottles and marinate the steak tips in it. What?
It's so long. Oh my gosh. I think it was from decades ago. It was like a steak tip sub.
Cheese.
Steak tip sub.
A steak tip sub?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds more summertime. Right here in New England right now, we're sitting under like 1.5 feet of snow that's left over from 2.5 feet of snow. So we're like done with winter. Let's bust out the grills and make our own steak tip subs, right? That'd be freaking awesome. And I want to put
fat on it.
Today? It's kind of weird. You ain't melting my vinyl, baby.
No, I want to put that sauce on a steak tip sub.
Yeah, Burks, you did a great job here. This is a very really good one.
We'll have to go visit you sometime.
Yes, absolutely. They sell these actually at the Norwell Market is where we got this over in Norwell Center, right down the road from where we film.
This one's running low.
That one's pretty much gone. The Los Calientes is done well. It's pretty much gone. And what you don't know is between our fridges, we have about 35 to 40 hot sauces, varying from a 1 all the way to a freaking 10. There's a 10 in that fridge. So.
And this one is. This is made where? Where is this from?
In your mommy.
Your mama. I don't know. I can't.
We're gonna go with California on this one. We're just gonna say it. We're just gonna say it. So, all right. So, do you have any questions or observations about Radiohead since you've learned a bit through me? You've seen them now on TV. If you saw them live, what would you want to see? Would you want to see the more guitar-oriented Radiohead, or would you want to see the more electronically driven Radiohead, or would you want to kind of see a mix?
I think a mix. I think both have so much to offer, right?
Yeah.
Um, I do love for like intensity factor, those instruments that are kind of all over the place, and seeing that live would be really cool. Like for instance, when we were watching that, what was it, that 2008
Performance live from
performance,
the basement.
when we were watching that, like I said, there was just like so much going on. It was all over the place, but yet it made sense in a weird way, like I said. But then once they ended, it was almost like, oh my God, now what? Like that was such like a 3 minute crazy intense trip, and it just abruptly ended. I was like, I don't know what to do with myself right now.
Did you
Like,
want to get up and dance?
no, it was a combination of like bang my head up against a wall, or just like lay there for a minute and try to understand what I just witnessed. Like
Hmm.
I can see how it's probably a very deeply personal album. You know,
Yeah, personal, but then cutting up all the lyrics to spread them out
yeah,
to kind of like make it less personal, right? Like I want to tell people where my head is, which is in
but I
chaos,
want to confuse them a little
but
bit.
I want to confuse them a little bit, and I don't want it to be my biography. I want it to be like
That's the
kind of
word.
like it's almost like
Confusing.
it was like ticker tape.
A
It's
bit
a
confusing.
bit confusing.
Confusing.
Confusing. All right, so I do want to mention another song on this album called the National Anthem. That's the one, you've heard it. It starts with a heavy bass.
Yeah.
And by the end, it's just a chaos of trumpets, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just absolute chaos of trumpets. And it's an to me, it has over time become one of my favorite songs on the album. Everyone is so weird. Everyone is so near, and it's just all this craziness. And then the trumpets just keep building and building. You know what's really interesting? It reminds me a lot of David Bowie's song "Aladdin Sane," but then this song comes out decades later, and then David Bowie's final album had a song called "Tis a Pity She Was a Whore," and at the end of that song is nothing but like chaos of trumpets, which is so bizarre. It's like things came full circle.
Didn't Fleetwood Mac do that too on their Tusk? Was that trumpets?
Tusk, yeah, Tusk was like
That was very unusual for Fleetwood Mac to do.
yeah. Speaking of which, nice segue because next episode is Fleetwood Mac's
Yeah,
album
baby.
Rumors. But yeah, Tusk was a song that just doesn't fit their band.
Didn't
But
fit their vibe. Yeah.
no, but you know what? That's the beauty of taking
They
chances
were really just messing around.
when you have a career like that where you've made your bones, all right? You've been out there, you've made your name. You can take some chances. Radiohead did it. Miles Davis did it with Bitches Brew. Fleetwood Mac did it with the song Tusk. That could be an episode in itself. Artists who took major chances could lose all of their audience and their career and didn't. Some did, but the ones that didn't, I think, get respect long after the fact, much like Radiohead did. All right, let's wrap this up with our final sauce. And do you think it's going to be one of the milder ones or one of the hotter ones, knowing me?
I'm sure it's one of the hotter ones.
All right, so
I'm getting ready.
I'm getting ready too. Ready? I'm going to Thom Yorke you.
Okay. There you go. Actually, it was more like his head. He was like,
Yeah, I don't know how he doesn't get like, right? We're getting old. We do that a
I
little
heard
bit, and it's like,
cracking.
oh my God. All right, so the final one here. This is, believe it or not, this is Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's habanero hot sauce.
All
And
right. Trader Joe's can't be that bad.
it's from South Africa. South African
Oh.
Trader Joe's habanero hot sauce. Let's go,
Trader
darling.
Joe, don't betray me.
Don't betray to me.
Don't betray to me, Trader Joe.
All right.
All right.
Ah, you're getting
This
a
one
good
looks
amount.
kind of creamy.
Yeah, this one's definitely like a
It's very creamy. Like
medium to thick consistency.
on this chicken nugget, it almost looks like honey mustard sauce.
Umami.
Ooh. There's a kick.
Oh. Yeah. Wow. Trader Joe's.
Okay.
You just threw us a 7. I call it a 7.
Actually.
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh, we got to talk about it a little bit. We're talk about it a little bit.
Delayed reaction.
Oh yeah. 6, 7, 6, 7,
6, 7, 7, 8. No. Yeah.
7.
7.
This girl is getting good.
I'm getting good.
She's getting
I'm
good.
surprising myself.
She's surprising herself.
Uh-huh.
All right, so here we are. 3 sauces. We got a 1, a 3, and a 7. A 1 and a 3 and a 7.
Maybe a 6.
Oh God.
I don't know. I have to think about it.
Until next time. So thank you for joining us for Radiohead's Kid A, the album that defined the beginning of the 21st century in a post 9/11 world, a masterpiece of a record, followed by its cousin, brother, whatever you might call it, Amnesiac. But this was a time and place. This is a great album. If you haven't listened to it in a while, go listen to it. If you haven't listened to it before, I suggest giving it a shot. Thank you for joining myself and Lisa, and we are Spinning Flames. See ya.